Mark, we good?
Yes, we're good.
All right.
I'm ready whenever you are.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to a Q&A with the Eternal Conquest developer himself, Mark. Mark, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you started working on EC.
Hello, I'm Mark. I'm a self-taught developer. I started working on this project mainly because I wanted to learn how to code. That was 4 years ago, though. Wait, okay, cut this part out. Wait, time out. Wait, time out. We're not like I'm not gonna mention this being a private server or anything, right? That's bad. That's bad publicity.
Yeah.
No, you're fine. You're good.
Okay.
That was
Wait, also,
actually
Mark,
one of the questions, actually. So
Yeah, I think that's bad publicity, bro.
Mark, you should probably write down some answers first so it goes smoother.
No,
Prepare
no,
yourself.
no, I got it.
Mark's gonna either get it on the spot or I'm gonna leave it in later.
Okay, I got it.
You know what they say? Any publicity is good publicity.
Mark, give us your best shot.
Mostly.
Mark, come on, they don't gotta know that you use Stolen Realm at they Mark did not use Stolen Realm.
You should
that one's getting cut out. That one's getting cut out.
Ender, you
Okay,
should
I'm
just
ready. I think I got it. Okay.
Ender, you should just start fake beef. Make this episode and then do exposing the secrets of Eternal Conquest.
All right.
Yo, Ken, what you talking about, man?
No, it's not working, bro. People are joining and they're not muted. Let me just fix this.
Dude, we spent 10 minutes trying to fix that.
Okay. So I'm Mark. I taught myself how to code because I wanted to create my own game, right? Now, I feel like today anything that is made and is great usually comes from somebody taking an already existing concept and adding his artistic touch to it to make it different in a way, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like there's nothing wrong with that. First of all, there's nothing wrong with that, and that's something that is good, So I feel like Realm is a very good game. It's the biggest game in its genre, no doubt.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like it's missing a lot of the the main MMORPG concepts. Okay, and
I mean, they did add
they
fishing
have
recently. That's the biggest MMO thing you can do.
no, but I'm talking more fundamental concepts. For example, let me give you an example. So you have classes, which is great, but okay, so let's take priest for example. So the priest has an ability to heal other players, which is great. But then you have health potions in the game. You have 5 quick slots and you have 3 of them. So that's 15 health potions. And plus you have 16 inventory slots. So that's 30 potions which heal 100 health each at least, and you can spam them. So you could potentially heal 3,000 health instantly. Now, this makes the priest pretty useless by itself. And not just that, because they have this mechanic, now they have to implement counter mechanics for this. So for example, now most, if not all the bosses will sicken you, so now you can heal, which I feel like is not the best thing to do, right?
Oh no,
But
yeah,
because
I
they have,
fell victim
because,
to sicken recently, so.
but because they have so many aspects of the game that are maybe not thought of correctly. For example, any amount of people can go into a dungeon. So you can have a dungeon with that, you can solo it, but then the same dungeon can be done by 100 players. So because of that, you cannot balance it. Okay, and for an example of this, let's take for example like Oryx 3. So if you go to Oryx 3 with like 100 people, and it's like or all sorts of people. So there's people with good gear, people with bad gear. It's gonna be hard, right? And the fight is gonna be like 20 minutes.
Oh yeah.
But if you go, I don't know if you saw it, but like the world record Oryx 3,
Is
it
like
like the
2 minutes
whole,
long.
yeah, the whole fight, like including the walking. So probably from the like 2 minutes, they probably did like 30 seconds of walking,
Which is
right?
insane.
And this is something that they can't really patch because like they would have to limit how many players go into a dungeon. That's what we did here, right?
Oh yeah,
So in
Realm
this
does that
dungeon,
itself too with like the Court of Oryx dungeons. Those are capped at I think 25, and then I think
okay,
regular
I didn't
dungeons
know
are
that.
50. But
I didn't know
health
that, but
scaling
still, like,
still becomes a huge issue.
right. And then because of this, they have to add so many mechanics to counteract for so like the second phases, so where you can heal because then you could have like 30 priests and just get healed constantly. So with what we did is like making the 5 player cap for every dungeon. This gives us a lot of room to make complicated dungeons and complicated not just in there being 250 projectiles on the screen and you being sickened, okay, but like more end-game dungeons will most definitely be built around teamwork. So like you're gonna have to go with 5 people with a good class combination and work together, right? Because I feel like when you're making something hard in a game, the first like stage is to make it hard for the individual player, right? And then the next stage is to make it hard where they have to work together. So now you're not only dependent on yourself and on your skills, but also on the other players to like heal you when they have to.
Yeah. Do you have plans on increasing the cap at all for dungeons, or is it?
N-
Are we thinking
Not
hard
right
start
now.
5? Because I play
Not
with
right now.
I play with a large group of friends for the most part, and we can't fit like 8 people into a 5-person dungeon. So
I see the problem in that, but like I said, this like the 5 man cap on dungeons is just I feel like it's essential to really balance the game and make it um all around like balanced and difficult when it has to be difficult.
gotcha.
Now to like counterpoint this, I could say that in pretty much any other multiplayer game, there's like 5 is honestly a high number. I know a lot of games that 3 people can play the most.
Yeah, a lot of games are kind of shifting towards 3-player parties.
Yeah, so I feel like 5 is a good number. Again, like you can do world bosses together, can like level up together, and then maybe when it comes to dungeons, you maybe like split into 2 groups or something. So another aspect of the dungeon system that we have, right, is let's say that you're a streamer with like 100 viewers and you're trying to play, but like everybody is trying to follow you around. So here you can just start a dungeon and you could pick whoever you want to do the dungeon with you, right? So if somebody's toxic or he's leeching, you can just simply not take them the next run, and you have to like hide or do anything crazy. And Realm the Mad God, like mostly the thing that bothered me the most is when trying to do Oryx 3, it has to like it's you pretty much have to join a Discord where there's people looking for worlds with no players so that they can go and like do it because it's way easier this way. And I feel like this is a very bad way to do it. So with the party system, um, it's gonna be much easier. And right now we're gonna add item level. So every item is going to have its own item level. So let me give you an example. Like for example, like tiered items. So
Oh,
for
kind of
example,
like
tier
the new realm power levels or whatever. Or did
um
you not know those were implemented recently as well?
they implemented item level.
Yeah, like item power. Like each one has like a tier 4 sword, just as an example, is like 50 item power, and a tier 8 is like
You're not
100.
talking about feat power, right?
No.
Okay, yeah, like but what is it used for?
Currently it's still like in their testing phase, I think. They released it with the realm rework beta. It's just so or it's just like a glance at someone's power level, like their gear, I guess.
Okay, we're gonna have power level so that you will only be able to enter dungeons which you have the sufficient like power level for, item level for. So like for example, we'll try to keep it on four main like categories of dungeons. So there's gonna be easy, medium, hard, and insanity dungeons. So for example, like a medium dungeon, or no, let's say like a hard dungeon, you will need to have, let's say, at least all unique items equipped. So you're gonna have to have four unique items to go, or let's say like two uniques and one legendary, or something like that. So
Oh,
this
so
will
like
make
just
it
like 4-4 basically.
basically. So you're gonna have to have good gear to go into a dungeon, or
Gotcha.
the appropriate gear. So this will make it so that the main reason for this is because I don't want players to come and they get invited to a dungeon and maybe they're new, they don't have good stuff, they get invited to a dungeon and they don't know that this dungeon is not like they're not strong enough for this dungeon, so they go in and they die, right?
Yeah.
Or they go in and it takes them like 20 minutes to kill the boss when it was meant to take like five, right?
Yeah.
And not just that, with this we can make it so that there's a um like a like a normalized progression, right? So a new player can just come and um join like a end game dungeon. He will be like lucky enough to survive it maybe, and he will get the best drop in the game. So he will steadily have to go like have to level up, do the easy dungeons and mediums, and get gear. And then when you have enough gear, you can do the next tier, right?
Yeah. No, about that. What about like, really experienced players who are trying to do the end game stuff with, mid-tier items? What about that?
Um, so people who want to do end game content with like not like medium items.
Yeah. Like let's say like just like tier 10 staff, 5 sphere.
Oh,
Or maybe
you won't
not
be able
5
to
sphere,
join. You
but
won't be able to join it.
okay. So they're basically hard locked from doing those dungeons.
Yeah, they have to get like enough gear
Hmm.
to like meet the requirement and then they can go in. This will I know that this is something that maybe a lot of people won't like, but again, this is one of the I feel like essential and necessary features that we have to add.
I, I
Um,
w- I was thinking maybe an alternative could be like counting the max number or like how much the player donated in gold for nobility as well. That could be that like either power level or gold amount donated to join that dungeon.
we'll see about that, but like I want to basically make it to where we're gonna have so if you open the party interface right now and you like invite people to your party, for every player you see that there's three zeros on the right. So
Yeah,
that's gonna be completion count for this dungeon. So for example, if you have like an end game dungeon key or tablet and you want to like start it and you don't have any like friends or guild members online, so you want to like this dungeon is very hard but you want to get somebody who can do it, right? So you will be able to tell by this, right? If somebody has done it 100 times, you can be pretty sure that they know what they're doing, right?
gotcha. So back to like the items, I suppose. Something that I noticed a lot of was just kind of the repetitiveness of everything after tier 8 being a shard. Is this something you're going to change eventually?
To be honest, the only reason why we added charts is because in Realm of the Mad God, when you kill a boss, you get a potion, which we can't do here. So now you have to make the boss always drop something, right? Otherwise, it's pretty disappointing when you spend maybe like 10 minutes to kill the boss and it drops nothing. So that's what the shards are for right now. But we've come up with a different feature that we're gonna add. The shards are still gonna stay, but there will be something else to get and like collect. I can't say much about it yet, but it'll be way better than the shards.
Gotcha. Okay. So just how do you feel about being called like a realm clone, even with what you do have that is unique, like Zephyr's abilities and all that? I haven't seen that done in any game before. Individual leveled portals, the 150 and 110 zones, and then just getting skill points instead of having to drink pots to max.
Um, I mean, we're just getting started here. I really try my best to anything I implement. I really try my best to make it resemble Realm of my God as wait. I try to
I
make
think you
it.
mean you're trying not to make it
I
resemble
try
realm.
right. I try not to make it resemble Realm of my God. Right. And I have respect for Realm of the Mad God. I played this year. I played this game like a long time ago,
Oh yeah, no,
and
I've been a realm player for just about 10 years, so
yeah, and
still a game I put hours into every day. So
right, right. But I also understand that Realm of the Mad God is a very big company, and it has a lot of people who are in charge, and they have investors and people who they have to answer to and implement transactions in to satisfy them and prioritize like content which will earn them the most money and stuff like that, right?
yep,
So this is another big aspect of this game, right? I'm not trying to be a millionaire. I really want to make a good game that people enjoy. I want to listen to the community and like listen to what they like and what they don't like. Any update, any significant update that we'll make is going to be pulled. So I will not be selling any pay to win aspects except for slots. Like we could argue that slots are pay to win, and they probably are, but not in any significant way. And the game still has to make some money. I have to pay spiders. I have to pay for the server cost. I've spent over 10,000 hours making this game, and but I want to keep the pay to win aspect at a minimum.
yeah, I know you guys were talking about in chat the other day about like what exactly to monetize in the game, and I think the only thing, or like without being pay to win, and I think the only thing that really came up were the vault slots and character slots.
Right. And I
What
want to
about dungeon tablets though? Do you think that would be
like
too much,
as
or
long yeah, as long as the game is going to make enough money for it to continue evolving and being in development, then I'm not going to push any pay to win. So no, I'm not going to be selling tablets or anything like that. Now, if
gotcha?
things won't go as great, then if we have to start selling something that is pay to win, we'll start off slow, obviously. But I really don't think that's going to be necessary.
What do you think about selling skins?
Yeah, absolutely. Skins, cosmetics, glows, particle effects.
Yeah, me personally, I think skins are one of the perfect things you could do because it's purely cosmetic. I know a big draw for Realm of the Mad God, if it isn't key sales, it's skin sales. So
Right.
or what I normally spend all of my Realm gold on is just vault slots. So
Right. Then another topic I want to talk about is cheaters, right?
Oh yeah. I think
Well,
I
oh my God.
nexused earlier, and I saw you talk about adding a guy that just would prevent you being able to auto nexus by insta killing you.
No, like I'm aware of the Realm of my God cheating problem, and it's so bad right now that if they were to ban everybody that cheats, they would probably be
Like a
left off
third of the
with.
player base would be gone, basically.
That is very generous. I'd say probably there'd be 80 online. That'd be my guess.
I think they average like 400 on Steam a day, so not counting their actual client from their website.
Here's how I feel about it, by the way. So if I join a game, right? Any game, right? That is multiplayer, right? Now I'm sort of competing with others, right?
Oh yeah.
So if I'm there and I see everybody cheating, if so if I see that the developers are taking action, then I'm not gonna cheat. I'll be like, okay, they're doing something about it. But if nobody's taking action, and I know people that have been cheating for 8 years consistently and like just blatantly cheating and are not banned, then I will just say, well, I'm gonna cheat too. Like, why would I not? There's no consequence to it. Everybody's doing it. I'll do it too. Like, why would I risk my character dying if nobody dies? If you look at the Realm I recent deaths, nobody dies with gear. How is that even possible? The clip where like there's a bunch of people walking the Godlands and a Medusa shoots a grenade and there's like
Oh, the
40
fame
people that
train
nexus.
or
Yeah, there's like
whatever. Yeah.
40 people that nexus at the same time. And I personally don't know anyone that was banned on Realm of the Mad God ever.
I know two people that were banned, and I think it was for racism more than it was cheating.
Yeah, because they're only concerned about how the game looks and like as long as they make money, they're good with it. And that's completely understandable. I know a lot of games that do it as well. But it has to come to a certain point where, okay, like if this guy has been cheating for 4 years, maybe it's time for us to ban him, right? Maybe they would even, I don't know. I honestly don't know why they don't. Like they should probably ban somebody every like 1 or 2 years. They would at least like buy more gold to get a new pet or something. So like I don't know
I,
what that's all about.
I think that's the main problem. Is a lot of players in Realm that cheat generally are also like some of the highest spenders for Realm. So if you ban a
Exactly.
whale
Yeah, yeah.
for cheating, you're not gonna have a whale anymore.
But that's now. That's how it is now. Like if in my game, we'll start doing that from the get-go. So if you like in this game, it's impossible for me to make it not being like exploitable. That's straight up just impossible. I can't do it, right? I can't prevent somebody from having God mode. It's as simple as downloading like an editor and changing one number. That's it. But what we can do is keep track of it and have like server-sided detection systems which will not instantly ban you, but they will flag your account, and then we're gonna have ban waves every week or two, and we're just gonna ban the cheaters. And with the progression, you're gonna have to play like at least like 5 days to a week to get the items to be able to do an in-game dungeon, right?
Five
So if
a week is kind of steep, isn't it? Or maybe it's
okay, maybe like
just
3 days. I'm saying it will take you
just
a while to
spitballing.
yeah, it will
Yeah.
take you a while to get there, and chances are you're gonna get banned before you do. So as long as we're always gonna have cheaters, but as long as they don't have an impact on the regular players, it's okay.
Like not another SWAT second situation where they spawn a O3 in the
Right,
middle or O2 in the middle of Nexus.
right.
Um, Born Again. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's like I don't exactly know what it like the region's called,
I've
but
I've heard
it's
of it.
more of yeah, it's like a
Like a
samurai based
samurai
realm
game. Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact thing, but they have a system where when you when you recall, you wait like 3 seconds before you actually get teleported, and I think they do that to combat auto nexus, because you can't just nexus, or you can't just have your client nexus frame one the second you hit like 10 HP or whatever. You have to
Okay.
actually be like,
Yeah, that's a
oh,
good
I
idea.
am probably not going to be alive for this. I should start leaving.
Right.
But that was one of the things that took a while for me to get used to on there, or on Born Again, after playing Realm for so long, because I'm so used to nexusing at like 30 HP, or while I'm in middle of some difficult phase that I have literally zero clue what I'm doing on, or whatever. So having to wait that 3 seconds it's a little or having to survive for 3 seconds is a little just difficult.
Yeah, and that's
um
what it is, right? That's like that's the challenging part for a developer, right? You have to implement um safety systems to combat cheaters, but at the same time, you don't want to hinder the normal player experience, right?
yeah, and
Which this is one of the cases.
I think Born Again having it right off a launch is good, instead of if like Deca tried to implement it 12 years
Yeah,
after Realm came out. That's why I think Vital Combat was a good change, even if it was very controversial when it first came out.
yep,
Was just because of that was a way to balance out pet healing, because of the fact that pets literally, if you had a max divine, fed you HP potions every 2 seconds.
okay. Um, yeah, like, and for the end game, um, like this is the discussion we had like yesterday, I think, with Max. So, as the game grows and we start to add content, usually anything we add will be harder than the previous one, right? Because you always want to add content for like the people that are the most active, and they're gonna already probably by the time you add new content, they're probably gonna complete the everything else that's in the game, right? So you want to keep on adding like harder dungeons.
Oh yeah.
Now, the problem with this is if you probably add like the hardest dungeon, you're gonna add the best loot as well with it, right?
Oh yeah, and
Now,
the power creep comes up when you bring that up.
right now, this is another problem on Realm the Mad God, right? Like to where if I'm just trying to play the game and I'm the type of guy that will always like take the most efficient way to do something, right? So if I like anything I want to do on Realm of the Mad God pretty much is just damage, right? So I'm gonna pick the class that has the most damage, which is Berserk, and I'm only gonna want the best items, right? So the best items drop from what, like Orc 3 and what?
Yeah,
Maybe one
O3
dungeon?
shatters.
Yeah, maybe one or two dungeons. And then when I have these items, realistically, why would I want to do anything else now? Like, what would I want to do a low level dungeon?
Well,
I
that's because
have
that's why so many items are kind of, or why so many different items, like useful items, are spread out across so many dungeons. Like Snake Eye Ring now giving speedy. That's why everyone runs Snake Pit still. Um,
right,
and then
but there's not many examples of this, is what I'm trying to say, you know?
oh yeah, no. If you want the best of
And
the best gear, it's all going to come from an Exile dungeon,
right, that's
or
my point. And
1 in a billion drop from an event.
right, and um I feel like when we add the best items, they always have to be situational. There's no other way to go about it.
Oh yeah.
So, for example, like this is the this is sort of the way I will try to keep it. So, if we add a dungeon now and it's the hardest dungeon, it will drop items which will most likely be situational for this dungeon. So for an example, it drops an item which is the best in slot for, let's say, Warlock in this dungeon, right? So if you have this item, it makes this dungeon really easy. But for another dungeon, it will still be good probably, but it won't be, it won't make a huge difference. So this way, there's more like variations, right?
Yeah.
There's more variations, and now like you want to do all the dungeons because maybe you don't yet have the best dome that drops in this dungeon and is the best dome for like another dungeon, So and because you're trying to be the best, you try to have all the items to be versatile as much as possible.
Yeah.
I feel like this is literally the aspect of any other MMORPG I've played, and like classes being viable and doing what they're supposed to do. I don't see the point in having a wizard that will deal more damage than 80% of the other classes, and he won't even be used to heal anybody. He will just be used for damage. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Then what's the point? You just go play wizard instead. Like, and this is I think that they added the exaltations just to combat this because nobody was playing these classes that are completely useless. Who would want to play knight if he can stun
Whoa, whoa,
nothing in
whoa,
the
whoa,
game?
whoa, whoa, whoa. You don't bring up Knight here. I'm a Knight main, first class ever, exalted, most played class ever.
Okay, what do you do with it?
I
Like what isn't the way I see it, and I don't play Roll the Mad God a lot, but the way I see it, what Paladin is better.
Oh, it is. No, I can't
See, that's what I'm saying.
like I
Like
can't
Knight is
disagree
just a
with you.
useless class. Knight is just a useless class. It used to be good. It used like back in the day, it used to be my favorite class because you could stun a boss and he wouldn't shoot.
Oh yeah.
But now it's just useless, right?
No, not
And
really,
that
because
goes
I play Knight because he is just a ton of fun to play, in my opinion. And that's also a big factor to some classes is that they just need to be fun. They can't just be like, best for healing, damaging, whatever. Like warrior and paladin both fulfill the same thing, but in a different way. Rather than, just being one class doing it the same way. And that's where Realm gets or that's how Realm does all of its classes basically.
okay. I understand where you're coming from, like completely. But if if you do not have a limit on how many people can join a dungeon, and if you don't keep it like um where each class is responsible for its own role, then you just cannot make like complicated dungeons. You just can't if you really think about it, because it's like that in every game, and it's like that in every game for a reason, right? Because it works. And I understand like why you're saying what you're saying, that like classes should be fun to play and stuff like that, but the point is that it will just get um, pretty boring over time,
Oh yeah, and that's why there's so much variety in everything you can do with each class.
right?
Let's see. Do you know what the next class is gonna be yet? Like, or
A
at
bow
the very
class.
least, what armor it'll be using? Oh, a bow
It's gonna be a
class?
bow class, yeah.
Oh, okay. Guys, we got a new weapon. Hell yeah.
So
um,
the plan with classes is we're not gonna force a we're not gonna force you needing to have the right team composition for every dungeon. That is not something I want to do.
oh yeah,
But we are
that
gonna
would
force
be
it.
a little bit. That would hurt a little bit having
Yeah,
to
that would
find a
hurt. But
specific person for each thing, because
right,
sometimes you and all your friends only want to play Warden.
right. But for end game dungeons, so like the hardest dungeons, um, we will be like enforcing this to a degree. So like you will still be able to try any combination, but like effectively there will only be one, and that's one tank, one support, and three DPS classes.
Oh yeah.
And so I feel like this is a good ratio because I feel like most people wanna play DPS, right? Including myself.
Oh yeah. No,
Um,
of course.
and this also like even if you don't enjoy playing like tank or support as much, I feel like this system gives you like more purpose to play it, right? Because now you feel like you're needed. Now, if you have a good priest with good items, now you will be able to join dungeons easily, right? Because everybody will need a good priest with good items, right?
Oh yeah.
And it will maybe be easier to find a dungeon if you're a cleric than if you're like a warlock, right?
Oh yeah.
And then like the game can balance itself out, like so depending on which classes are needed the most, those are like that's what you should play pretty much, right? To get in the dungeon quickly if you wanna be efficient. But and I wanna make this game like really competitive end game for those that want it. So if you don't want it, you can just play your own game and like do whatever you want. You can collect items, you can like maybe try to get the best time on a dungeon or something. You can have your own guild, whatever, right? So we're trying to like suit every playstyle.
Gotcha. So you said repetitive, right? You kind of cut out for me there. Or you want to make endgame repetitive, is what that was?
No, competitive,
Oh,
competitive.
competitive. Okay.
Yeah, so like leaderboards now with the guild system we're going to be adding. Um, there's going to be guilds with a maximum of 10 players per guild for now.
I was gonna
And
ask. 10 players seems like a little.
I know, but because of it's going to make sense. It's going to make sense why. Because there's going to be guilds, and so if you're in a guild and you complete any dungeon, you get points for that dungeon. Okay, you get 10 points. So the guild gets 10 points for that dungeon. So if there's 5 of us from the same guild, that guild will now get 50 points for that dungeon, right? And now for every dungeon, the guild with the most points for it will now control it. And this guild will now earn 10% of the gold reward from this dungeon every time it's completed, not only by the guild, but by anybody.
Gotcha. I'm looking in chat now. I see that Coca said, "What if we just implement no Rex for guild private dungeons, which could be a separate feature from regular party dungeons?"
What do you mean by that?
It's kind of like what we were talking about earlier with the power levels being required for endgame dungeons. Just saying, like, what if it's a guild dungeon, we just remove the requirement for that?
We'll think about it. Probably we can do that, yeah.
All right. Ken said it could you could make an unlockable Iron Man mode for the pro players. If you don't know, I don't know if you. I assume you would know what Iron Man means.
Yeah, I know what Iron Man is. We could do that as well, yeah.
And
I could
then
just make a character that is Iron Man and can't use the bolt. That's it. Can't drop or pick up anything that wasn't dropped for him by an enemy, and that's an Iron Man.
I'm not sure what their name is. It just pops up as C. But they said, what if we get guild dungeons that can bring up to 10 players? So kind of like removing the
That
cap for existing dungeons just for your
that's
guild.
sort of like plans for like we're probably gonna implement raids, and that would be either a 10 or a 15 player cap, and would
Oh,
be like it would take a considerably longer time to do it. So it'd be like a longer dungeon with more bosses in it.
yeah, no, I'm sorry, Coco. I didn't have chat open for so long, and I just now realized we're supposed to be talking with other people here, too. My bad. Ken said that the Iron Man mode was regarding pro players, like having shit gear going in the dungeons.
Oh,
And then,
well, this is something that we're gonna let the players vote, right? Like, we could do pretty much anything, right? As long as it works.
oh wow, there's actually a lot of people in VC. Hi, guys.
We could do pretty much anything as long as it like we see it working. If it doesn't work, we can pull it again and change it again. It's no big deal, right?
Yeah. And that's what I like with like indie games, you guys, other games I play, they will generally like just send out a poll, just like, all right, guys, how are we feeling about this? What do you think we should be working on next, or whatever? And I really like
Right.
that. They love to listen to their people a lot because what better people to listen to than the people that are playing your game, right?
Exactly.
Um, Zarks asked, also hi Zarks. They asked, will this game have something like realm closing?
Most likely not. No.
Okay. I know in Secret Channel you were talking about. Sorry, it's not much of a secret now, I guess. Um, I know in Secret Channel you were talking about like adding a rotation for the realms or whatever, like the little or the zones. Um, how would you plan on implementing that? Like, would you say like
What do you mean by
Inferno would?
rotation?
Hold on, let me look for it real quick. But I think someone was talking about it where like, at some point one of the zones can just be replaced with another like of a similar tier, just not a previous zone, just so there's not a repetitiveness of being in the same Greenwoods zone or Inferno or Misty Meadows, or I think that's what the second one's called.
Right. So here's where I want to go with this. I haven't thought much about it, but mm,
Oh yeah, here it
the
is.
goal the goal is to hit level 100, right?
Yeah.
Were you gonna show me something?
Oh, it was something you said earlier right here, where you said make Forest 100, convert Misty to level 100, and then I think there was another bit
That was the
somewhere.
plan, but I don't think we're gonna go with it.
Gotcha.
Um, because anything I implement, I have to think of like the long term effect of this, and if we will be able to implement new content, if we will be able to integrate new content into this existing one, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like what we do is we keep the Greenwood Forest and Misty Marsh. We give it world bosses so that it's a little less, mundane, so that
And
there's an
something you can
objective.
do in it, right?
Yeah. So
Because
there's
right
an
now,
objective.
basically, all you ever do is hang out in Inferno. But
Right.
if you give the other worlds bosses, then you could have like the older, more experienced players helping little guys figure out how to do them.
Right.
Because give
And
them a unique
then
drop that's good, people are gonna flock to it, right?
right. And then like I think the way to go about this is whenever we're ready, we're gonna add a new realm, which is gonna be the same level as Inferno, and it will have its own like themed enemies in it and dungeons, right? And then if we have like two or three of these, right? So if we have three realms like the Inferno, now we could like have quests that make you go into a different one each time, right? And because when you have a dungeon tablet, you can invite anybody in the game. You can just if you get a dungeon tablet, you can just invite anybody, and it doesn't matter which realm they're in. Just they can just join up with you, right? So I feel
Oh
like
yeah,
this doesn't split players up too much, and it kills the mundane aspect of always being in one realm.
yeah. Zark said, "Are we gonna get unique and legendary shinies?"
Yes. So we're gonna the next update is two more rarities. So right now we have
Oh, two
tiered
more.
items. Yeah, we have tiered items. We have uniques and legendaries. We're gonna have uniques, epics, legendaries, and mythics.
You guys have decided on mythics for the one after legendary. All
Yeah.
right. That was actually a question I was gonna have. Is are you like how Realm has its cyan bag drops, and those are a completely kind of different UT. Was if you guys were gonna do something similar, like is unique going to become that rarity, or would you say
You,
maybe put epic below that or something
mm,
for the sake of that?
I feel like um I feel like we use unique as to like the introduction to, unique items as a whole, like not the tiered items, right? And then we can have like, I want to keep epics, legendaries, and mythics the same, like so every legendary weapon will be, comparably strong, right?
Yeah.
Um, but I don't think we should do that for the uniques, because maybe like some of the world bosses in Greenwood Forest or Misty are gonna drop some uniques, right?
Oh yeah.
So that maybe, if you're leveling, you can still get a unique or something, and it's maybe useful in other ways. For example, like a ring that gives 20% more XP that you can use for leveling.
Okay.
The notion, like basically all the mechanics they know are from Realm. They don't know any other game that is similar, and so like they can't compare it to anything, right?
Oh yeah, no. The only other ones are like Darza and Born Again, and Born
Yeah,
Again's still, really fresh. Darza's at least had the chance to be alive for I think like 6 years. Just only
yeah,
recently
but
like
Darza
coming
is
back.
straight up just too much of a copy. Like they haven't added anything unique.
Yeah, having the consume gems and stuff is kind of a cop out when it is just the same as,
Yeah,
potions.
and like I don't know why they would make the level 20 cap. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Like they could at least put it
Uh,
like 30 and not make it obvious. Like, I
yeah, I
mean,
notice a lot of games that are inspired by Realm seem to base themselves
yeah,
off of the level 20 cap. Um,
exactly. They
I, I
want to like
think
keep them.
I think Born Again is level 50 or something. I can't remember.
Yeah,
But
like in this game, for example, like once you hit max level, you only have a certain amount of points, and you won't be able to max your character. So already with this gives like room for you to create almost like a build for every character, right?
yeah.
Which I feel like it's a healthy way to go about it, and it's also I feel like it's boring to just create a new character and drink the potions from the vault and just instantly you even drink a potion of max level that will give you 20 levels and you're good to go. Like that kind of beats the point, right?
Yeah. I think those are
It's
more meant for like veterans and stuff, but even then, it's more just for convenience sake than, you know.
yeah.
You can continue. I think you were continuing or saying more.
Um can't really remember like I don't know what else to say honestly. The main thing, like I probably want to finish it off by saying that, it's just me that, will say yes or no to an idea, right? And I don't know why I would say no to a good idea. Like if anybody comes up with a good idea that we could implement, I'll just do it, right? Because why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like that's a very um positive like aspect.
Yeah. Um, is there plans on like, Realm has fame where you die and you get a currency. Are you thinking about doing the same thing here but with gold so that, if you die on a character, it isn't a complete waste? Or
We'll make it give something. Yeah, we haven't thought about what yet, but we'll make it give something.
no third currency, just or like
Maybe nothing is like out of the
nothing's out of
every yeah, everything's possible.
okay. Stinger asks, how do you think the game is going to be looking in the future? Like, what's your vision of it?
Um, so a lot of people have said that the game is not ready for Steam, and it's not. I agree completely. It's not ready, but I want to push Steam release as soon as possible because like mm, there's only two ways to go about it, the way I see it. Either we hold on for as long as possible and we hype the game up and we try to make it big on release, which is what most games do, right?
Oh yeah. And I
But
think that's why you encourage like, creating videos and all that, getting people to join the Discord server through our links and all that so much is so that
right,
we can build up more hype for the game.
Right, right. But more than that is just to have a lot of people test it, right? Because the
Oh
more
yeah,
people test it, the easier it is to find bugs.
and then
Also
you can
have to
also
like
build
calculate,
more off of all of that feedback.
right? Also have to calculate the like server capacity and all that.
Oh yeah, because if
But so far,
we have like, just hypothetical, 100 people now like playing at a time or whatever. I know it's more like 20, I think. But if we had only like 100 and the servers are like maybe not
overwhelmed.
as good or like overwhelmed, yeah, you're right. I couldn't find
Yeah,
the
yeah,
word.
and
Then, if you put it on Realm or not Realm, if you put it on Steam and you get flooded with like 3,000 players,
yeah, and then it would just
like
crash if
then no
nobody would
one's
be able
able
to
to
play.
play.
Yeah.
So
But
I
so
think this is a
far,
good way to go with it.
yeah, so far the server has been running for I think over 3 months, and it hasn't crashed once, except for the one day that like I did an update and it was crashing all day, but that was my fault. But other than that, it hasn't crashed once. It's very stable, so that's already like huge. Um, Also, all the like fundamental features of the game are mostly complete. I know the UI looks like I made it because I did. But now that all of the game like fundamental features are complete, I'm now fully working on content as well myself. I have a lot of people helping me, and yeah, we just steadily. I don't want to make it big on release. I want to like put it out there as soon as possible. I want people to join, and for those that want to get like involved early in a game that's gonna be updated constantly and it's gonna be alive for many years. I feel like me myself would like to get involved into a game early and unlock like all the skins, like limited time skins and whatever, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
that like maybe 5 years later I can say, look, I played this game before it was even on Steam,
I'm an
right?
OG.
Right. I feel like that's something that a lot of people want to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think as long as we just keep working on updates constantly and caring about the game, so like banning cheaters and preventing them from advancing too much. I feel like we could take this game far.
We'll do a few more questions and then I think we are done. We have passed the hour mark. I believe Mark doesn't have too much more time, do you?
Yeah, I should have time for a few more questions.
All right. Zarks asked, "Are you planning to add a pity system to legendary and higher tier items in dungeons? Let's say 100 dungeons for one legendary or
No, I
one
don't think
guaranteed
so.
legendary."
No, I don't think so. Because if we don't add a pity system, then there will be exactly as many items in the game as we anticipated. So if there is a 100 or if there's a 1% drop chance for an item in a dungeon, that does in the long run, on 1,000 completions, there's going to be 10 items that drop, and that's it. Maybe if you do it 150 times, you won't get it, but if you do it 1,000 times, you're definitely going to get it 10 times. And maybe it's not going to be you, but somebody will get it. And because all the items are tradable, this is one of the other things I wanted to talk about. All the items are tradable because I know that there are some players who are not complete sweat lords and will not like want to watch guides for a dungeon or learn it, right? I know that. I respect that. And if you're one of those guys and you want to just, play casually, you can. And you can farm easy dungeons, you can collect gold and buy yourself an item that drops from the end game dungeon this way, right? So I feel like that's a healthy aspect of the game as well.
Oh yeah, no. I love the fact that every item like it is tradable. That brings me to another question. There's no like actual trading system in the game currently. As far as I know, it is only the market where you could like officially trade an item, and that's for
Yeah,
gold.
we'll probably add a trading system.
Oh, well, I figured as much. And then there's also no like locking mechanic. I know. This is just like
Yeah, these
quality of
are
life
all
stuff that's
yeah.
from
We're
Realm.
gonna add like all of
But
these. Like there's a lot of features that haven't been added yet.
yeah,
We're gonna add all of these. Like in the next update, we're gonna add a feature where you can view like nearby players and stuff like that, right?
yeah.
I want
Um,
to add achievements soon as well. Um,
kind of like what
something
Darza has, or a different
mm,
system
yeah, something similar, like
because they have
account
the
achievements.
account achievement, kind of like the star system in Realm, or like a different thing, or like its own thing.
Yeah, we're gonna have something similar here.
Because I know the nobility system kind of works like that, where you donate a bunch of gold and then your little emblem next to your name changes
Right,
depending on your rank. So,
right.
and then kind of related to that, as more players join, are you thinking of increasing the leaderboard cap on that? Because having, like 500 players and only three of them can be, top three.
This is the beautiful thing about this, right? Like what makes something so exclusive and desirable is just the fact of how uncommon it is, right?
Oh, yeah.
If there would be 50 kings in the game, then you would not want the rank as much as you want it now that there's only three, right?
Oh yeah, but just
Uh,
going on, unless like you change the rewards for it, because I'm just going off the fact that a lot of people are gonna want +6 to all their stats.
I know, and then and everybody has a chance to get it, and because you can't buy any gold from the store, any gold you see in the game is going to be completely uh it will it
Farmed from
yeah,
players. I really
exactly.
like that. I
And
really like the being able to get gold and stuff. I love that.
yeah,
Um,
and also about RWT, which I get asked a lot.
I did see a couple
Uh
questions like in
it
general
will not
chat a
be
while
it,
ago about it.
I don't know if we're gonna like indulge in it. Like if the staff team is gonna take responsibility to the point where we have like middleman watching the transactions, all of that. Probably not. I want to go with probably not,
Uh,
but
yeah,
it won't be against the rules. So if you want to do it, you can just do it. No, but you're not gonna get banned. But if you get scammed, nobody's gonna do anything about it, right?
I was
So it's
gonna
at your
say like just do it at your own transgression,
yeah,
really.
it's at your own risk because I don't want to like take this away from players because I know that in today's day and age, there's a lot of players who mainly go to the game because they want to make money off of it, which is completely fine.
Oh yeah.
Um, and like I can't see why not. Like as long as the game, because if you buy the gold from me, then it will be generated into the game, right? And this will create like a market unbalance, right? But if you buy it from another player, then this gold already exists in the game, so there's literally no damage done.
All right, you can give me a quick yes or no for this. Are soulbound items planned?
No.
That is that question. Okay. um, hold on. I saw one question. All right. Are backpacks or inventory extenders planned?
Yes.
I was gonna say that's a big problem with me because I like to carry around as many tablets as possible, and then you also have to carry around all those shards. So
Right. Right. We'll add that pretty soon as well. Yeah.
now, like we talked about the other day, or not other day. This was literally 20 minutes ago. Um, like we were talking about with the lack of pay to win, as you were trying to put, um and more so like the pay for convenience, like of having more character slots and vault slots. um is there going to be a way to get gems in game, like a
On
conversion rate
release,
from gold to gems, or like letting
so,
players trade their gems?
so here's the plan. Trade your gems, never. But on release, there's gonna be a chance for players that won't pay anything to get one of each slot over the course of probably 2 weeks. So if they play for 2 weeks, however long to like complete the daily challenge, which is should probably not take more than like 15 minutes, then they can get one of each slot.
Bring back monthly or twice a month scribble tourneys for gems, is what Koga said.
Yeah.
Too bad I wasn't part of that. I also had another question. Will you be wiping like the servers after, or not servers, but like everyone's stuff on Steam release? I feel like
Yes.
I was gonna say I feel like that would be a good thing to do.
Yeah,
Just
absolutely.
like I'm not really sure where I was going with that. Honestly, I just wanted to know.
Yeah, it's absolutely like to reset like the Nexus novelty and everything.
Oh yeah, that definitely needs to get reset, especially with the fact that there's a tournament for it right now or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah.
So any wipes planned post release? I would assume not. I'll just
Um, I don't know about that yet. But all I can say is that I feel like wipes are a healthy part, a healthy aspect of this genre.
yeah, I feel like that's what seasonal characters on Realm are kind of going for. Is that you have
Yeah,
a kind of separate thing that at the end of every 2 months gets wiped so that you can start again. But I
right.
mean, you'll still be playing with players that have all this stuff. But again,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is Realm, not Eternal Conquest.
right. But then again, like with the current system, like even with the Nexus nobility and the guild system we're gonna be adding, it's gonna be like, let's be honest, like nobody really plays one game.
Oh no.
Like, right? You may play one game for like a month or even like 6 months, but eventually you're just gonna stop and play something else, right? Which
Oh
is
yeah,
completely fine
that's one of
and
the
healthy.
or
Yeah,
like
but
Realm, you kind of drop it and then you pick it up like 6 months later.
right,
It's just a natural
right,
thing that happens with every game, Minecraft,
right.
Roblox, whatever.
And I feel like, for the people that are competitive, which I feel is a pretty significant amount of people, some more than others, but if you like play for like 2 months, say this game comes out and you play for 2 months, you're the best and you have the best guild and you have everything, and then you take a break and you come back in 5 months. And in 5 months, you're probably not going to be able to compete with anybody, right?
Probably if you plan on doing the weekly updates. I'm
Right.
sure that'll
Now,
get, but
the
whoever before is
RWT, the
ahead.
RWT aspect will kind of affect this, surely, right? People will be selling gold and whatnot, but
Oh yeah.
not much. But still, I feel like if like after like 5 or 6 months or a year or whatever, we like announce a wipe, and I feel like people will be pretty happy about that. To like where everybody starts fresh.
I guess it depends on the players you're going with here, because I know a lot of I'm sure quite a number of Rome players wouldn't appreciate getting completely full wiped after 3 months of like not playing or whatever.
Right. Well, this is like not final at all. We'll hold
Oh
it
yeah.
probably like everybody else, or like everything else.
I would like to add, I think it's normal for a game like this to be compared to, let's say, Realm of the Mad God. But
Oh yeah.
what Mark is trying to do is he's trying to build a good foundation, and keep improving it every day, and little by little it's going to create something beautiful. And I think he has some great ideas and a good vision for the future. So I think everyone should be excited and look forward to what's to come.
Oh yeah. No. Definitely don't expect this to be the next big realm killer or whatever, like Revenge of the Fallen, or Beneath the Nexus, whichever you want to call it. And Darza's were hyped up to be. This is really just its own thing. Of course, it is still competition with Realm being in the permadeath RPG category, roguelike, whatever.
Wait, what are
Um,
you talking about? Of course we're gonna kill realms. Wait, wait, what are we talking about here? Of course we're gonna. It's time, bro. Like, wait, it's time for Realm to lose the throne, bro. It's been so long. They've had it for so long, and it's finally time. And we're here. We're here to do it.
there's definitely an audience for the games because you have, I think, like on average, 100 people are playing Born Again. I don't know about Darzas. I don't play that too much. If I want to play Darzas, I play Realm.
Right.
But
We'll see.
that's
We'll see.
but like that's what we're talking about. Kind of is you need to be unique, or you're gonna be Darzas, where you spent 2 years making the next big update or whatever, and then you just kind of fell off because you're still just rip off. Well, I want to be respectful and polite about this because
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know
yeah, yeah.
they poured their hearts into it, but at the end of the day, it's Realm with less content.
At the end of the day, whatever, if you're trying to just like straight up just copy something, you will not be better than it. That's just how it is. You will have to change something.
And you know, I think Darza's has a lot going for it. You know, sprite wise, I haven't played too much of the new
I'm
content.
gonna be completely honest with you. When I
But
logged onto Darza when it launched, I was sure that it was gonna take over around the mega. Like I was,
oh, me too.
I thought this is it. Like this is it.
I thought it would have, you know,
The
it
game
take
looks
some of the
so much
player count
better.
with it at least.
Yeah, like the game
But
looks so much better than Realm of the Mad God.
you don't do updates for 2 whole years, and all you do is post constant spoilers about the next big thing. It's it's not gonna build the kind of hype they're expecting because a lot of games need to be, you know, constantly updated in some capacity.
Yep.
That's why you know, when Kabam finally sold Realm to Deca, it was so big because you know we're finally getting a new group to actually work on it because Kabam had like I think one guy working on it and all they did was make boxes for people to spin.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly.
But yeah, I was sure, you know, when I was like 13 or whatever. I think Deca actually bought him around that time. Oh wow. But I remember being like a year in the Kabam era or whatever, and it was just absolutely horrible because no new content. And I mean, I was like, you know, yay old farming cemeteries.
Right.
That we're getting off topic, actually. Far too off topic. This is about your game.
But yeah, I understand what you mean. Everybody wants update and it's good if the game is constantly like fresh, constantly updating, something to grind for.
Yeah, just really anything. Like even if,
Yeah,
you know, you update something after a week and all you've done is add a new mod to or mob to an area, that's still something.
right.
Like or even like, you know, just add like little things, have the big thing working on in the background that you can spoil or whatever.
Right.
I think that's the way to go with that, and that's kind of what like Deca does with Realm is they have the smaller content updates, and then you know they were doing the Realm we worked the entire or for like a good 2 years. Like you know we and between when they announced it and then you know the beta that came out a couple weeks ago, you know we had enchantments, dungeon modifiers, a whole lot of stuff. I think new Shatters is still relatively new, so but yeah, just as long as there's still stuff going on and it isn't like the same thing for 3 years straight.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. There's most likely going to be an update every week.
Yeah. And as I want to personally quote what you said as well about it. A couple days ago. Then we just steadily work on 1 to 2 updates a week after release, and we shall have 850,000 people playing online next year.
Oh, that's a minimum. That's a bare minimum.
The bare minimum.
Yeah, that's like nighttime hours when nobody's on.
Nighttime hours. All right.
Um,
Let's see. Is there anything else anyone wants to ask? I'm all out of my stuff. I will give that a second in chat. Controller support on PC. I think Steam kind
oh
of
yeah,
automatically does that.
I wanna release the game on mobile by the end of the year as well,
Oh wow.
which is hard to do most likely.
Probably. I know, you know, Darza started off as a mobile game, so
Right.
I'm not too sure how well it'd work or like how easy it would be to, you know, do that, but in reverse.
Yeah.
You definitely get a new demographic. But I think that's also a problem with Darz is you have to take into account, mobile players. They're not exactly going to have like the best movement, accuracy, whatever, right?
Yeah,
So,
I have a lot of ideas how to make it good on mobile as well.
okay.
Because yeah, like trying to walk and aim and be ready like to Nexus and user your ability on mobile is pretty tough.
Yeah. I remember when I would play Darz on my phone back then, and it was just painful.
Right.
All right. Zarks asked, "How about a statistics table on each boss that shows the who shows the person who did the most damage, the one who healed the most, and the one who received the most damage?"
Yes, we'll have that. We'll have that.
C said, "More external ways to boost up your stats instead of equipment, nobility, and level."
I mainly wanted to just be stats and nobility, stats and items.
Gotcha. I did notice. I think the max level is 215, isn't it? With all of the max level
Yeah.
increases. Yeah, I did notice that I was like 4-8 or whatever at level 213. Can you not get max or like 8-8?
No, you can. No, you can't get. You can't max all stats. No,
Oh, really? Okay.
that's what I talked about. This is what like because you can't max all stats, you have to like choose if you want more attack or more health or if you want like regen. So it creates almost like a build that you have to make, you know?
Gotcha. Okay. So that's probably why everyone like suggests maxing out attack and tempo.
Right.
Okay, I did not know that. I thought it was like, every other realm inspired game where it's like, yep, you can 8-8. Nah, that's it. I kind of like I like Born Again's way of doing it, where you have the different blessings and then you have the consumed gems to get to level up those blessings. I think that's a good way of doing it. Obviously, I'm just saying, different example of it.
Yeah, yeah. But like by all means, all everything you see here is probably like it's most likely not final, right?
Yeah. Would you say something
Uh
like using gold, like at max level, you can use gold to level up a stat or something like that?
Probably not because like we're trying to make the power creep as as little as minimum. We try to keep it at a minimum basically, right?
Oh yeah. Well, remember, power creep also, you're gonna be able to bring, Warbringer's crown into any area. So, um,
I know, but I'm that's okay. Like if you have end game items, you will be able to do an easy dungeon in like 10 seconds, and that's okay. Like as long as you beat something from it and you want to do it, like that's okay, right? And it'll be even easier than doing easy dungeons on Realm of the Mad God because in Realm of the Mad God they have a bunch of phases where they're invulnerable, and that's put there to stop you from doing the dungeon too fast.
yeah.
We're not gonna do that here because I don't see a reason for it.
Oh yeah, especially with, 5 people dungeons at the moment. You don't really need
Yeah,
to be like, I have to consider other people hitting soulbound.
right, right.
C said equipment raising your luck or like raising your luck. I was actually gonna have a similar question. Where do you plan on like having anything that adds a loot boost or something like that? Maybe giving it to nobility instead of stat bonuses.
Most likely not. No.
No, no, like upgrade system with guild where you could get like XP bonuses or anything.
Probably not. No, I'm not a big fan of XP like or loot boost.
Gotcha. Okay.
Like I said, if we end up not making enough from selling slots and skins, then potentially we'll have to be forced adding something, and this something could be like I don't know, like a status that gives 10% loot boost, right? But again, like a lot of people
Well,
don't like
I
that.
think I think if you're considering the first thing as like a loot boost for money, I feel like that would be pay to win in some aspect. That's why the first thing I suggested was tablets, because that's like the bare minimum of pay to win, because you still need to do the dungeon. You're just paying access to get the dungeon without having to do the grind of finding one.
Okay, yeah, I see what you mean.
That's why, you know, keys make up most of the profit for Realm, is because no one wants to go out of their way to go find a lost century just so they can do a cult or a crystal worm mother for fungal.
Right, right.
And of course, you know, everything is still on the table. This is just what he currently has planned, like, or this is like what he's currently thinking of being in or not in the game. But if like, you know, a lot of people ask for it, you know, Mark may reconsider.
Right.
All right. Any final questions? I'll give it a minute. Stinger keeps asking if there is an EU server.
This server is in the EU,
Yeah.
but for release, we'll probably have a US server.
Honestly, I don't know if it's just how like the low player count and that's why I've barely lagged or whatever, but like I really haven't had too many issues with disconnecting or anything like that.
It's just that
Apart from
you probably have a 150 ping, but this game ping is not really that much of an issue because it's not PvP. Ping is the issue in PvP games.
yeah. C said, will cleric get buffed or the dungeon difficulty get higher, requiring a cleric?
Cleric will get buffed, yeah.
I saw that you know, it's like a not an overtime heal as I described it last time, but it's like a 3 second heal or 3 second and then heal cooldown kind of thing. Do you plan on adding a like scroll for cleric that'll just be an instant heal as like a legendary or unique item?
If we do, it's gonna be a mythic and it's gonna heal less than the other spells.
Oh wow, very high or very low drop rate just to heal less. It's kind of kooky, but that's
I
just
mean, a
me.
little less, but just because it
Just
heals
barely.
instantly.
Or is it less compared to like the highest tier? Because I really have only seen like tier 5 items with all of my playtime. Or abilities
Um,
at least.
wait, sorry, what was that?
Or
What-
like lower heal in regards of like what tier? Because the highest tier item I've seen for scrolls 5.
lower as in lower than, legendary heals that heal, I don't know, like 250 or 300. It's gonna be probably like 200 because it's instant, you know?
Okay, that sounds fair.
Yeah.
Who do you say chill voice to, Jodes? I'm not sure. Enme said, any plans on an item sync? My vault's full of items, and there's no way I could sell them all.
Yeah, there's a couple of ideas for item syncs, yeah.
I was thinking, just right off the top of my head, you could do a thing where like there's a minimum value, and you can just sell it for that at some guy in the
That's
Nexus.
that's literally what I was
Oh,
thinking.
really?
Yeah.
And
Like
then
something
you have the
really
player
like
market.
really like small value, but still like, it's something, right?
Just like as long as I can get gold while farming the
Right, right.
realms, which is well, I mean, you get the uniques and all that, but that's not the same because maybe you want to keep the unique, but you don't need all the tier 9 armor shards.
Right.
Let's see.
I'm gonna have to go now.
Okay. Any
But I
final
feel like
words you got?
I want to thank everybody that helped us test so far, and yeah, we have a lot of stuff planned, and it's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for the future of the game. I'll definitely be watching closely as this is my favorite genre. So, um, Beneath the Nexus, as far as I know, has fallen off, so you will have to be its successor. I'm joking, but
We will. Don't worry about it.
um, thank you so much for joining us, Mark. I'm
Thank
so
you for
glad that
hosting it.
I'm so glad you agreed to it. This is my first time doing anything like this.
I enjoyed it as well, and
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
thank you for hosting it,
yeah, and
and
thanks
thank
to
you for
everyone
giving me.
else that sorry. Thanks to everyone else who joined and asked questions. I definitely couldn't have gotten almost 2 hours of recording without that.
Right.
You can continue. Sorry, I cut you off completely.
Yeah, that was just gonna say like thank you for giving a lot of feedback on the game and taking the time to do this.
Oh, no
Um,
problem. Oh yeah, the recording's hit 137. See,
nice.
but yeah, no. Once again, thank you, everyone. If you want to see the all of this afterwards, just as a recap, I will be putting it up tomorrow, hopefully. Oh, that was my. Well, you probably don't have time to answer it now, but I was gonna ask, what's the Saturday updates?
It's a new difficult dungeon and the new rarities and loot notifications and a bunch of other like fixes. Some world bosses for the low realms.
Oh, nice. All right. But yes, once again, thank you, everyone. If you want to see it, I have a video and YouTube channel already, or the YouTube channel
Yeah, we'll
already that you
post
can
it
go
in
to,
the
and then it will also get posted there once I finish, or once it releases tomorrow, and I get it all done. Well, hopefully it finishes tomorrow. I'm very inconsistent with working on stuff, sadly. But yeah. Thank you everyone for coming. Thank you guys for whoever's watching the recording for also listening in. If you liked this, like the video, and if you like me, subscribe. I will see everyone in Eternal Conquest. Will I? All right. Goodbye.